Hi, I'm Jeff McDaniel bringing you this Bulletproof workout. I say it's a workout, but really this is 10 minutes of soft tissue work, mobility drills, and some corrective exercises to get your knees feeling amazing. There's a couple things you're gonna need for this workout. Number one, a chair, box, bench, ottoman, sofa, something you can sit on. I'm gonna use a mat. That's optional. We're gonna be down on our knees sometimes, so that can kind of help out. And then you're gonna need to collect up some massage tools, and you want these to kind of be your arsenal to kind of attack knee pain. So number one, just a rolled up towel, a foam roller, preferably one of the trigger point grid rollers because it has the knobs that really gets in there and kind of eliminates some of the soft tissue restrictions. And then a softball and a tennis ball. Now if you only have one of these, that's okay. We need some type of massage ball, but there are some things you can do with a softball that you can't do with a tennis ball and vice versa. I'd like for you to have both, but if you only have one, that's okay. And then finally, a massage stick. There's some things you can do with this that you can't do with a foam roller, and so this is a cheap $4 wooden rolling pin that will work as a good massage stick. Before we start, here's a quick range of motion test. Oftentimes, the biggest culprit to our joints being achy is we don't have full range of motion. Maybe through overtraining, undertraining, we're just not able to take our joints through full range of motion. So here's what I'm talking about. Your knee should be able to fully extend and fully flex pain-free. So I want you to start off by straightening out the leg, press the back of the knee into the floor, and I'm gonna squeeze my quad. That's the thighs. And as I do so, the heel should lift off the ground, if you can see that. That's fully able to extend even a little bit beyond. This is what we want. If you can't get the heel off the ground, then we're missing full extension of the knee. Now, we should also be able to fully flex. There's extension, this is flexion. I want to be able to pull the heel into the hip. If I can't and it stops at some point there, then again, I'm missing range of motion, and that is the first thing I want to try to fix. So let's get started with that. Our first drill is going to be flexion gap, and keep in mind, I'm going to do this routine with only one knee. So if you have knee issues in both, you want to repeat this workout on the other side. So let's start here first. Place the towel back behind the knee, and all I'm going to do is try to set back onto the heel. Most guys can't, and that's a contributor to knee issues. But we want to kind of get all the way back here, and I'm going to extend the leg beyond me here, and I want to sink back and then try to open up. What flexion gapping does, it opens up that joint capsule, clear space, so we can really get more range of motion, and we can squat and lunge the way we're supposed to. So I want you to oscillate side to side, really try to hunt and search out some of the corners where it's tight. And what you might notice is doing this for about a minute or two can sometimes be a quick fix to your knee problems. We're only going to do it for about a minute, but for you, and I'm starting with this one because it's probably the most important one, you might want to do that for 2 to 3 minutes. That may be the only one you need to do. So that's flexion gapping. Now, next up, we're going to go into some ankle mobilization. I'm going to show it on this side, but stay on the one you're doing. Better to do this up against a wall, but I'm going to show this on this box here. I want you to keep the heel down and drive the knee towards the front of the foot, back and forth. We're going to do this for about a minute, and actually I want you to try to go towards the foot and outside the foot. So this prevents, you can see from right here, we don't want to collapse it in. This is a big contributor to kind of breaking down soft tissue in it. We want to push it to the outside. You can even do it if you don't have a wall. Just do this here. Let me show it from the side. And keep pushing the knee towards the front and the outside of the foot. This is an ankle mobilization. So often when our heel cords get short and tight, then we can't squat like we're supposed to because our heel cords are preventing us to have good range of motion. So you want to do this for about a minute. Keep pushing that out. And this is probably the second most important one you could do because oftentimes I know for me, I do this for about a minute or two before a run or a lower body workout, and it makes the knees feel so much better. I call it joint juicing. Really kind of helps lubricate the joints, mobilizes the ankle. Next up, now we're going to go into some, next up, let's go into some, Now, next up, grab your foam roller, and we're gonna go down and hit up the quads. These are the thighs right above the knee. So I want you to, I could just cuss God. There you go. And stop. Okay, next one, grab your foam roller. We're gonna do some soft tissue work right above the knee. So one thing we wanna do is get healthy tissue above and below the knee. Getting rid of restrictions, breaking up scar tissue, adhesions. So we're gonna take the foam roller, place it right above the knee, and come down almost like I'm in a plank position. And you see a lot of people that just kind of randomly roll like this. I want you to actually go real slow and to start hunting out some knots and some tissue restrictions. You'll know it when you feel it. So we want to kind of work all the way up to the hip and back down very, very slowly. And when I come across some of those areas, take your knee through what you would do in a squat or lunge. Basically the type of movements that you're feeling pain when you do, when you sit down, go up and down stairs, and hit up each of those spots. Work all the way up to the hip, and then work back down. Again, anytime I find some area, I'm flexing it. I can even roll from this flex position. So I want you to get in there and do some good work. I don't want it to be too painful, but I want you to, get those quads to have better tissue quality. Move over here now to the hip. And this is the best exercise to kind of eliminate runner's knee, tight IT bands. Runners always have tight IT bands. You're gonna come down on this elbow, anchor yourself with this hand, and you can position this foot here. We're gonna do the same thing we did with the quad, either keeping the foot here or stacking it. So get in, go really slow. Again, if it's too painful, put the foot down, take some pressure off. You could even raise the hips up and slowly let it sink in. And if you haven't foam rolled before, you're really going to experience a lot of muscle pain because that just kind of shows you how tight they are. So we don't want it to be unbearable, but I do want you to feel like you're doing some good. And foam rolling the IT band needs to be a daily practice. Pre-workout, post-workout, off days, really foam roll the IT band and see if you can't make some good tissue change. Let's get one more there. Great. Now, I want you to put that to the side. Grab your softball. You could also use a tennis ball for this if you like. And we're going to hit this muscle. It's not the official name, but I call it a teardrop muscle, so you'll kind of remember it. So when we squat and lunge, that's that muscle that kind of really contributes to a lot of achiness. It gets the knee not tracking like it's supposed to. So once you position the ball here, and just place this teardrop right into the softball. And just lay with this arm here. Breathe. Again, if it's pretty painful, just let it sink in. But obviously, because it hurts, that's probably a culprit to that. So, flex it, back and forth, extend it. You'll also notice there's a little bit of a indentation and groove. In there, it's where the quad meets the hamstring. You want to spend at least a minute or two here. And really, I'm taking you through 10 drills. Your goal is to really cherry pick the ones that give you the best relief, that get the most work done. So some of these may give you more relief than others. Okay, next up, we're going to go take your tennis ball, and I'm going to come down and place this right behind the knee here, and grab the shin and try to pull the heel in. Now this is a big calf smash. So the calves are kind of like the brake pads of the knee. And again, when we have tight calves, this contributes to, again, the knee not functioning like it's supposed to. So we want to work above the knee, below the knee. This is the best one. Now, when you really get into that deep spot, I want you to go through all the motions you would with the ankles. When you walk, run, squat, make some circles. This just helps improve some calf tissue quality, give you more flexibility. You can reposition it if you like. Like I said, we're only going to do this for about 60 seconds. Test this out and then test the squat. Okay, next up, I want you to get your rolling pin. So we're gonna only take a minute, but I want you may want to do this more. And this allows you to kind of manually get in and find some of those areas. It could be on the outside. Your IT band goes from your hip to your knee. And so you may want to start right in there and come across. If it feels okay, roll past it. If you find some areas like right there, I'm a little bit tight in that spot, I want to really kind of get in and mash. And the rolling pin allows you to apply just enough tension into it. So you want to roll out basically the outer part of the quad, the middle of the quad, the inner part of the quad. You can even come down and hit the inner part of the calf. Again, if you run a lot, this takes a lot of the brunt and ground forces that you're doing when you're running, or playing basketball. Work that out. You can work the back of the calf. Also, this outer part, your peroneals, this is an area, I know for me, this is probably the best thing that kind of helps me if I get any type of achiness, is find those spots, take your ankle through full flexion, roll it, massage it, all the way down that shin. That is a phenomenal one. Probably try to do this before you do any type of sport activities, or you're working out, or you're walking or running. Okay, next up, once you get into a stretch, grab your mat. We're going to come down to what's called a calf stretch. So I want you to put the knee down, the knee of the leg that is giving you problems. Elevate this foot up on box or bench, and I want to sit into this calf stretch. It's stretching out this quad and hip. So get up nice and tall. And I'm going to show it from the other side. You stay on that one. But I want to get in and really pull back. This is phenomenal because we're stretching out the ankle. We're stretching out some of the peroneals and really hitting up the thighs. Basically everything below and above the knee. I can work side to side. I can extend it. I would say do this for about 2 minutes. We're only going to do it for about 60 seconds. And you could also rock forward, hit the hip flexor, spend some time here, do this for a minute, and then let's switch it over. Now I want to come down and elevate and get into the hamstring. So again, we stretched out the quad. Now we're stretching out basically the front and the back of the leg. And just get in here and work side to side. You can grab your toe, awesome. This kind of gives you a little bit of a heel cord stretch. Breathe it out, spend about a minute on each one here. These are two great stretches, the calf stretch and the hamstring stretch. Stretch it out, work it side to side. You're probably going to be tighter in the outer part of the hamstring. Awesome. Okay, last thing I want you to do is use your sofa or your box, get into deep squat mobility. So we talked about range of motion. Now I want you to take that squat pattern and put your hands back behind you and sink down deep. Try to keep the toes pointing straight ahead and get into that deep squat. And then your chair or bench will assist you and really work on opening up the knees. And again, taking yourself through that deep squat position. So you basically go from a sitting position, deep, 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 deep. And this is, again, we're trying to improve joint mechanics, how we squat. You can mix it up with a wider stance, more narrow stance. You can bring the feet together. Again, try to drive the knees out, oscillate. I can kind of get into one side, emphasize that more. Really, it's a great way of just teaching you how to squat correctly and safely here. Got about 15 more seconds. I would like you to do this for about 5 minutes, one time a week at least. At least one time a week watching TV. Take 5 minutes and stay into a deep squat. Again, you kind of assist yourself so it doesn't get too intense. And that is a 10-minute routine. Here's your mission. Go through all these 10. You should feel better at the end than when you started. And what you may notice is some of the ones that you got more relief from, that's the ones you want to spend more time on. And you may cherry pick one or two and spend your whole 2 minutes doing those. So do this at least a couple times a week. It's a great 10-minute routine. Hopefully get you going better, feeling better, moving better, and pain-free. See you soon.